As always, we'll be hitting the go live and checking the audio. As you all know, we are starting a couple minutes early here. Similar to yesterday's stream, the faction face-off starting just a touch early to let some people gather. I don't really want to explain the format too many times in a row. It will be a shorter stream today because all of the games are already done. So we can just roll back to back to back, get this on the road. Don't really feel like stopping and talk about it, so just starting early so some of the live crew can gather and we can just go through it once, call it good. We have Rocket here. We have World Beater. How y'all doing? It is Friday. It is indeed Friday. 1, 2. Yeah. A lot of replays today. A lot of replays. I gotta get this shit done. Did I get here before anything started? Yes, you did, Big NACL. Yes, you did. There's 1 minute left before I will really get into the description of what's going on. We have only 7 people here right now, which is fucked. Oh, demonetized. Just demonetized another video, everybody. Hey, World Beater. Hey, Knighthood. How you guys doing? My Friday was busy as heck. Busy as heck, but we're getting there. Good. Fled from home. The puppy went to the gym. Good, Rocket. Good. I just did a workout myself. I will not color my veggies. All right. The stream thing still says we only have 7 people here. I think that's bullshit because we have 10 likes, which I don't think is true. So let's do it. It's 6:59. This thing's supposed to start at 7. What are we dealing with today? Well, if you watched yesterday's faction face-off, you might think, wow, this fucking dumbass is all out of ideas. Okay, calm down. 1, this started way before the faction face-off, but we had some scheduling issues. 2, it is a little different. So, we did have an event for our Vermin League, our best of 3 Discord bot, and you would get into teams of 3 people. So, when you were in that team, like, you get some of your friends together, like Strat Game, Cool Umbrella, and Black Knight were a team, Lenorm, John FB, and Blood Penguin were a team. The more games you play at the very end of the event, a set amount of time, everybody who played games, you would total up all the games that they played, you being me and my admins, total up all the games, and then the top 2 teams that played the most games get a shout out and like, yeah, you did it, you're so great. And then we were going to stream this event. So the 2 teams here are the 6 people that grinded the most in the set of time, and again, we had scheduling issues, so it took a long time to get out, but this has been in the works for a while. Now, how is this going to work? You see all these picks and bans and names and stuff. Game 1 will be John FB versus Strat Game, right? John FB versus Strat Game, and the pick and ban is on his side, so John will pick 3 factions, ban 1, and then Strat Game will counterpick, things like that. Cool. But something that is different is everybody on this team is being treated as the same person. And to understand that, that means if, like, John plays Bretonnia, right? If he plays Brett, Lenorm plays Zinch, Blood Penguin plays Empire, this Blood Penguin can't play Bretonnia, Zinch, or Empire. So as the event goes on, we start to get into the deep faction pools, because most of the meta shit's going to get eaten up right away. Now, similar to our faction face-off, if you didn't see it, let's say Strat beats John, Cool Umbrella beats Lenorm, Blood Penguin loses to Black Knight, Blood Penguin beats Cool Umbrella, and then Strat Game beats Lenorm, and Black Knight beats John FB. You might be like, wow, the event's over, 5-1. Okay, very cool event, human boy. No, because then this Blood Penguin's still alive, can continue to fight. Maybe they take out Strat Game, Cool Umbrella, and then they fall at last. Something like that, right? And again, still can't use the same factions as anybody on your team already did. So you'll be seeing some new factions for sure. Pokemon battle rules again. Similar, but unlike the last one where it's pre-declared factions, this is like it's like a best of 11 kind of, you know, because you and your teammates can't pick the same shit over and over again. So you'll probably see some Bretonnia, you'll probably see some Ogres, and then you won't see them anymore at all. So let's get into it. Game 1, strat game versus John FB. We have Skaven and Beastmen. Big NACL, that's terrible. Make sure to keep your fluids up, man. Drink some water. Streaming black and white back when the event started. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Hey, Captain Teals. I remember you. I remember you existed. Alrighty. Alright. For the Skaven of John FB, we have Ikit Claw, some Clan Rats as a front line, 2 Poison Wind Globes, the Teethbreakers Rattling Guns, and then 2 Giselles, one of which is the Natty Boobos. We have 1 Warp Grinder, the net/AoE damage thingy, 4 Rat Ogres, and more Clan Rats in a box, with Foot Ikit having Flensing Ruin and Howling Warp Gale. Cool. What's the goal of this tourney? Is it for fun or a sweaty prize? It was for pride and honor. Pride and honor. To see who is the best 3v3 team. On the other side for strat game and as Beastmen, we do have 2 Centaurs, 2 Harpies, 2 Manticores, a whole bunch of Ungors. Just a whole bunch, one of which is the Arwar Destroyers of Drakwold, 2 Ungor Raiders, 2 Chaos Spawn, Morgar the Shadowgave with his double Chaos Spawn summons, and a Breshim in the Wilds with Traitor Keen. Alright, let's get into it. This is one of the largest maps in the game, MP Crossroads. So the Beastmen did take their sweet time getting set up, getting the surround in. Meanwhile, the Giselles have been teeing off on these poor Harpies. The frontline fight is in at last. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake here. As the Skaven Poison Globes are trying to target something that went outside their range, they do walk out of their defensive enclosement, and they're now in melee with the Ungor Herd. Meanwhile, the Teethbreakers are teeing off onto the Manticore, who's currently locked in a Howling Warp Gale. Though, if you've played Warhammer 2, you'll realize Manticores were always a bane of the Skaven, because like Eagles, they have so many dodge animations that even while they're netted, you just can't hold them down, you can't shoot them worth a damn. So the Teethbreakers and Natty Boobo's shooting at that thing. The Natty Boobo's even shooting at close range, and they're just not doing, like, any damage. Yeah, they took half HP off of it, and you might be like, that's damage. You have 2 elite weapons teams shooting at an 800 gold dumb bitch, and you did half of its HP. Come on! Anyway. Giselles are now trying to snipe out the Bray Shaman of Wild. In all the confusion, it is typical for a player to forget about their mage or something, so maybe the Bray Shaman won't dodge as much. Meanwhile, Harpies are not a single entity, and they don't have an amazing dodge animation, so those Teethbreakers just shred them, but the Harpies hold on? How did their leadership hold? What the fuck? All right, now they rout, but damn! Those were some brave Harpies. All right. Things are going badly for the Skaven. You might be like, but they're ahead on the balance of power. Trust me, I've played a lot of Skaven. This is not going well. It's about to get real bad real quick. All right, where are we at with Poison Globes? One is routing and pretty much dead. The other one's routing and it has plenty of health, so it will come back. The Giselles and the Teethbreakers are beset by foes, but not dead just yet, though Centaur is about to get into the cookie jar. For the Skaven, they have some chaff remaining, but overall, they're mass routing, and the Rat Ogres are also getting out of here. Claw's plenty healthy, but that's about all the Skaven have to their name. All of a sudden, the balance of power shreds upwards for the Beastmen, and everybody thought old Hummus was a piece of shit. Everybody thought Human Boy doesn't know shit about the Skaven versus Beastmen. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The Skaven have this, and then all of a sudden, the balance of power looks a lot different. I know what's happening. I've been in this situation a lot of times where you're like, well, fuck. My Giselles are alive, but for how much longer? And they can't sit and shoot anything. They're just gonna get run the fuck down. Sounds like my ex-girlfriend. Lol. Heckin' lol. At this point, it is looking doomed, because we literally just have this Giselle that as soon as these Chaos Spawn get done killing these Clan Rat Spears, they'll stop these guys from shooting. You have a Rat Ogre that's about to route Ikit Claw, and then that's literally it for the Skaven. They're just doomed. Centaur is going to finish off this Giselle team. And when it routes, we might even see an army losses. That might be too ambitious, but I think if that Giselle routes, the bounce of power will get bad enough that the game will just call it. Alright, they're routing. Rat Ogre's routing. Things get a little worse, but I guess it believes in Naked Claw more than I do. Like, how is this not army losses? It's Ikit Claw versus two healthy characters that could both beat his ass. Okay, maybe the Shaman couldn't beat his ass in melee, but as Traderkin. There's two Manticores that could easily solo him, and then there's all this chaff. But the game's like, nah, dude. It's Ikit. He's a Chad. In the interest of time, I will just fast forward, because there's no shot that this gets better for the Skaven. Cleansing Ruin will take out the enemy caster, but not in time. So Strat Game will draw first blood for, I believe the team was the Night Crew, and the other side was like Birds or something. If anybody from John FB, Lenorm, and Blood Penguin's team is here, remind me of what your team stood for, because you guys are PPQA, which I don't remember what PPQA stands for. I know the other guys were just the Night Crew, the Night Squad, the Late Shift, the Night Shift. The boys in blue, red, black, pink, and purple. Yeah, Teethbreaker's only got 450 value after shooting a Manticore and Harpies all game. That's fucked up. How have you been? Made some mistakes on the stove, been too hot this week for our state? Gregory, I am sorry to hear that. I have been good. I have been good, my man. So I'll take you back to the Photoshop. Partially because it acts like our blocker these days. And John FB has fallen. So again, if you weren't paying attention when I did the announcement, that means Lenorm, Blood Penguin, Lenorm, and John FB cannot use Skaven for the rest of this event, while the side of Strat Game, Umbrella, and Black Knight cannot use El Beastmen. And this is Lenorm versus Cool Umbrella for Game 2. This is Lenorm. This is Lenorm, everybody. Lenorm definitely wasn't having scheduling issues. Definitely did not have to sub in for a game to help out. This is Lenorm. He changed his name and his playstyle to be strangely like mine. This is Lenorm, you guys. Hey, Cat Morgan. It still says BBB Groots. Yeah, this event was like, it started like a month ago, a month and a half. I don't know, man. All right, you guys are on the right thing. Nice. So, for Kislev versus Nurgle, the front line of 5 armored Kossars, 2 Kossar spears, 3 Streltsy, 2 Ice Guard with glaives, and 2 Kossvite dervishes. We have Kistalton and the Frostmaiden of Ice and the Frostmaiden of Ice on foot. Now you might be like, Human Boy, this Lenorm build looks kind of weird. What's going on with it? Well, if I had to channel my inner Lenorm, I would say Lenorm probably brought 2 foot casters with Kistalton's healing to prevent rancid visitations from Nurgle from killing your caster. So even if it kills one, you have another one. And they brought different spells because it's the 2 spells that Lenorm enjoys in this matchup, but didn't want a single target to be snipeable. And 2 Frostmaidens of Ice on foot cost about the same as 1 Frostmaiden of Ice on like a horse or a bear. So that's probably what Lenorm would tell you. And then Foot Kistalton, because he has magic damage, fire damage, and in a faction that has a lot of healing, you do like that AoE fire damage application. Plus, of course, you need the healing to deal with rancid visitations. It's probably what Lenorm would tell you. Anyway. On the side of Cool Umbrella, resident Nurgle expert, we have, it looks like 4 Plague Toads of Nurgle, 5 Nurglings, a whole bunch of Marauders, Forsaken, more Marauders, and Forsaken throughout. 2 Plague Drones of Nurgle. That's not even the Rotflies 900 gold version. That's the much more elite version. And then we have a Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle with Fleshy Abundance and Stream of Corruption. The pew-pews have begun as Kislev unloads just a violent amount of firepower upon the advancing army, and they hope to God it's enough. The Ice Guard with Glaives, Lenorm was inspired because this replay happened shortly after Blood Penguin won Ultra Funds tournament using Ice Guard with Glaives against Khorne Minotaurs. And Lenorm was so impressed by them that they were like, you know what, I should give these a shot. And did. So the front line, Kistalton already helped these Armored Kossars break it with a 76 melee attack. And the Ice Witch is also helping out over there. The Glaives are under attack by Marauders, while the Kossovite Dervishes try and bail out. Plague Drones are running back to disrupt the back line. And Kislev is going to dedicate some pistols and some archers and some Streltsy to really focusing down those Plague Drones and getting rid of them. They are demonic units, so if you can do enough damage to them, they will fade away. The frontline fight is going Kislev's way for now. Some of the flanks are falling apart a little bit, but the front line's doing okay, and the backfield is largely fine. One Streltsy is getting beat up by the Plague Drones, but Kistalton's there to help. And meanwhile, the other thing under attack is the Ice Guard with Glaives. Their anti-large and magic damage will help them actually fight back against the Plague Drones of Nurgle quite effectively. Frostblades is thrown onto these Armored Kossars, who are beset on all sides by Plague Toads. Trying to get a little bit more damage back in there as Kossovite Dervishes just continue to be annoying in the backfield and try and keep this middle pocket for Kislev firing. We have 2 Streltsy who are still healthy and 2 archers who are trying to fire. Meanwhile, our Ice Guard are under attack, but they're built for that. So as long as these Streltsy can keep firing, there's still a chance. One Streltsy is trying to punish the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle. On reflection, this is probably a mistake because there's so much healing for him. He even has that passive healing crown that is much more important for the Kislev player to be focusing down any other units. Sniping out a Nurgle Lord is usually not viable, so it's better to just kill the whole army and deal with them last. But the Kossars and the Streltsy are fine, and these Ice Guard, man, they're holding. They're holding like champions. They don't give a shit. And both the Plague Drones are dead, which is a huge loss for Nurgle. It's a big investment. Armored Kossars get a nasty stream of corruption down the side that is going to make them consider routing, but not just yet. The other Ice Guard is also just chilling while under attack from Nurglings. And, yeah, things are going okay. Kossovite Dervishes get caught by Nurglings. A little bit of a whoopsie there from Lenorm. Ha! Lenorm's a fucking noob. Got Kossovite Dervishes caught by Nurglings. What a fucking loser. Alright, Streltsy aiming to fire in on these Plague Toads. Kislev is currently... They have dealt with the Plague Drones. Now they're going for the Plague Toads. They're really trying to kill off anything with mobility because Nurgle infantry is so slow that generally Kislevite infantry can actually outrun it and kite it around. So the big thing that Kislev wants to do right now is shut down all of Nurgle's mobility tools and give themselves all the agency in the game to come. This Plague Toad is barely hanging on. Where's the other Plague Toad? I thought there was 2. Oh, okay, yeah, that one's Felipe. He's fine. He's chilling. Forsaken did get through part of the front line. Other front lines are going the way of Kislev, and the Ice Guard even just straight up beat the Nurglings, so they'll soon be able to turn around and offer fire to support other things. Kossovite Dervishes are sacrificing themselves to those Nurglings to buy these Streltsy some time. And the Chaos Sorcerer Lord takes a Death Frost just for a little bit of taxing of his HP pool, which already the healing cap has appeared. Streltsy are now firing back over into the Plague Toads, who are strangely resilient. I'm used to them crumbling by now, so these guys are really dogged in their pursuit. Dogged, because they're toads. They're not dogs. I'm funny, goddammit. The Ice Guard, instead of shooting like would have been smart, opt into melee with the Nurglings. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or if they were just doing dumb line of sight things, because they don't seem fully invested in the melee fight. So it looks like they were told to fire and just didn't. I actually just don't remember how that one went down, but they should not be in melee. They should be shooting. They have hybrid stats, but they're still way better off shooting Nurglings than fighting them. Nurglings are starting to fade away, though. For the forces of Nurgle, we are getting down to just some Marauders, some Forsaken, 1 Plague Toad, and of course the big spooky Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle, who is just getting Death Frost Spirit Leeched every so often. More and more Kislevite units get freed up. The Ice Guard are even going to fire into the Plague Toads now, who get a fecundity to try and keep them alive. More Ice Guards on the far side. These guys are still alive. They're just hang in there, you know? I generally shit on hybrid stats a lot, but the Ice Guard, specifically the Glaives, the dual sword ones are trash. Dual sword ones are super trash. But the Glaives seem okay. Their charge defense is quite nice. The anti-large and their weapon strength actually gives them some decent fighting back value. They do magic damage in melee. So I think versus the demonic factions, they have some play. I still wouldn't call them amazing, but I think the glaives are fine. Fine is the word I would use. Dual swords are trash. Do not take the dual swords. They're just objectively terrible. Sounds like a job for Gorok? Nah. You're in Minnesota too? What up, Gregory? Yeah, I'm down in Rochester. All right. So yeah, Kislev won it out. The Ice Guard didn't get a crazy amount of value, but they just held forever. You saw that Umbrella flanked and then just ran into these guys and nothing happened forever. Armored Coster frontline traded up quite effectively. Basic archers and the Streltsy did well. And the dual ice ladies were around. They did fine. The whole job's not to die. For Cool Umbrella, the Plague Drones failed him. The rest of his build was pretty solid. Those Forsaken churned through the front line for quite a bit. The Plague Toads were very disruptive. And then Marauders and Nurglings were just annoying to deal with. Yeah, you'd have to ask him if the Plague Toads, if he was just testing those out or if he believes in them. Half hour south of Twin Cities. Nice. I think I have some cousins around there. If Belle Plaine is anywhere near you are, where you are, I'm not super good about that area, honestly. All right, Photoshop. Lenorm takes a dub. And that is that. So game 3. Blood Penguin versus Black Knight. And this is a treat. If you do not know Black Knight, he is famous, absolutely famous around my server and on certain quick battles for his high elf build. He will just pretty much copy paste the same high elf build and fight any faction with it. He fears no man, and he was playing with Imric before Imric was actually good. Here's my contribution to your wedding expenses. That is a big donation, Ryan McDonald. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but thank you so much for the support. And I'm really bad at expressing gratitude, but I do appreciate it a lot. I don't know what to say. I'm now going to just twiddle my thumbs like a dumbass. And then a $5 from Gregory's. I don't see CA revealing Shadows have changed at Gamescom since August 23. I see them revealing it next week. I know things about this, so I can't comment honestly. What I can say is I am excited. Because they have told the content creators some stuff. So I can't I can't in good faith speculate because I'm either lying to you or telling the truth and then I'll get in trouble. But that is a good theory. I like that theory. Because, what I can talk about is their stated deadline of the DLC coming out in the summer. We have not heard anything publicly about them being behind schedule or anything. And if Gamescom is August 23rd, they would have no fucking turnaround time on like Gamescom August 23rd. Here's the Shadows of Change. It comes out like fucking tomorrow. Go get it like tomorrow. So that seems doubtful. All right, let's get on with this. So Black Knight's infamous high elf build that he is very, 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 very good at versus Blood Penguin's Bretonnia, which 1 is an S tier faction right now, and 2, Blood Penguin has been a very good Bretonnia player since Warhammer 2. He's actually, from what I've talked to him, he's a little sad they're OP right now because he loves this faction, and now when he plays them, people like this scumbag abusing a broken faction. He's like, no, I just want to play them because I like them. All right. For the infamous build, I guess I should actually tell you about it. 5 Spearmen, 5 Lothern Seaguard, Imric up on his dragon with all of his buffs. We have a Mage of Life on foot with just Earthblood, no regrowth this time. Black Knight's feeling bold. Then we have 2 Dragon Princes and an Illyrian Reaver. On the other side, for Bretonnia, King Lewin Lanker, which since his buffs has become an absolute truck of a duelist. He'll love to see it. We have 3 Knights of the Realm that I saw. 4. Nope. 3. Nope. 4. Yes. 4 Knights of the Realm, 1 Grail Knight, a front line of peasant mobs, some Spearmen at Arms with Grail Relics to buff them up, 2 Battle Pilgrims, and a life caster with regrowth and earthblood, and 1 field trebuchet. Now, the Knights of the Realm do plow into the sides of these Lothan Seaguard and Spearmen. They trade... Well, these guys that were trading with Spearmen take about as much damage as they dealt. The other Knights of the Realm did fine, but now they're running away from Dragon Princes. And Lewin and Imric trade blows. Both of them leave with about as much health as they started with, so who cares? Grail Knights go seething straight through those Spearmen. My god. The fury packed into the bodies of these little Grail Knights makes Khorne weep that his Blood Crushers and Skull Crushers are so pathetic in comparison. And Bretonnia is currently mulching through the High Elf front line. Grail Knights continuing to run about. Looks like now they're looking for a fight with Imric and his Dragon Princes, though actually they had attack orders onto the Spearmen, so that was awkward. They just do a drive-by next to these dangerous targets. And these other Dragon Princes are in a 2v1 against the Knights of the Realm, but their superior High Elf stats should carry them through this. Because Knights of the Realm, while they are effective, they're not like Giga Broken like Grail Knights are or anything. They're just good cav, but Dragon Princes should beat them. Though now that the Grail Knights are on their ass, it's a 3v1, and those Dragon Princes are going to have a real bad time. Other Dragon Princes trying to charge into the backfield, get rid of these Spearmen at Arms, give the Lothan and Seaguard some area to fire, but man, Bretonnia slammed through that front line. We have 1 Lothan Seaguard very injured, 2 under attack, and 1 is free and clear to fight. Meanwhile, the Dragon Princes in the backfield did lose their 3v1 fight, which honestly, like, Grail Knights are busted, but I don't think Dragon Princes should be winning 3v1 fights anyway, so maybe they deserve to lose that one. High Elves are falling behind the balance of power. Imric's going to have to put this game on his back, and he is trying to. Sword of Crone is popped onto him, while Lord of Dragons is popped onto Lewin. And Imric pushes Lewin away from his precious life caster. Men-at-Arms and Battle Pilgrims are streaming into the backline of the High Elves. A lot of their Spearmen have hit the dirt, as the Grail Knights and Knights of the Realm with effective cycle charging did get rid of all of those units. And man, the High Elves are just looking thin nowadays. Not in general, I meant in this game. We have 1 healthy Dragon Prince left. Imric, of course, his life caster, of course, and some tattered Spearmen is all that remains of the High Elf army as Imric gets beset by the Grail Knights and Lewin. He's getting taken to Poundland, as Turin would say. Yeah. You're from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. Gotta represent your Minnesota Warhammer bros. Hell yeah, dude. Minnesota is where the best Warhammer players are born. That's for sure. Because we don't... The thing is, we don't have an ego. The thing about Minnesota Warhammer players is we don't say dumb shit that isn't true just to make ourselves feel better. Like, we just legitimately are the best players that have ever lived. So, yeah. I mean, it tracks. It makes sense. Especially since that both the Thrones of Decay and the Nurgle one is scheduled for winter 2023, not winter 2024. Oh. Yeah, then it has to come out on this side of the year. I am curious, because they still haven't announced a ton about the Slaanesh one, right? It was just kind of a Slaanesh-looking picture that didn't have any details on it, correct? Or am I remembering that wrong? Because we don't know what's in the 3rd DLC yet. We just know it's probably Slaanesh. They feel kind of King Arthurish, then it's just Oracle and some fantasy sprinkled in. Yeah, Bretonnia's a little weird. Their roster's kind of small too. This is the 2nd game still. This is the 3rd game way. Alright. For Blood Penguin, Lewin did fine. The Grail Knights did fantastically well, as they always do. Knights of the Realm mixed overall okay. Battle Pilgrims, Men-at-Arms just really pressured up that middle area. And I'm just realizing now that Bretonnia didn't bring any archers. Interesting. Is Anticity from Minnesota? No. I know where he lives, but I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you where he lives, so I will just say no. Dragon Princes and the Illyrian Reavers got crushed in the cavalry engagement. Imric did okay, it was a short game, he didn't have a lot of time to cycle charge and stuff. And also when he was cycle charging Lewin, he just wasn't getting a lot of value, which, like, happens, I guess. Lewin's kind of a beast. Everything else got crumped. But, as we have talked about, Blood Penguin did defeat Black Knight, but now this whole team for the rest of the event can't use Bretonnia. I'm just saying. All right, we're back into another Blood Penguin game. How does that work, Human Boy? You're stupid for organizing this way. I asked both teams to send me a list of the order they wanted their players to play without telling the other team, so that it was kind of randomized. So, yeah, they picked that Blood Penguin go twice in the middle, and that is not my fault. All right, game 4. Cool Umbrella versus Blood Penguin. We get Dark Elves versus Norsca. Doesn't Tis even play anymore? I think he comes back every time there's DLC for a bit. Gregory. Oh, I was actually about to say I hope Slaanesh and Khorne are in the same DLC because Khorne really needs help. But I think now that you said that, you might be right. Because that would suck for Khorne not to get a theme DLC when everybody else did. That would be so dumb. "13th apartment." Yeah, that's the whole story. I thought Anticity was Canadian. I can neither confirm nor deny. I'm not just gonna start DDoSing other YouTubers. All right. What do we got? For Cool Umbrella, we have a Dark Elf box. We have 2 Dark Shards in the middle of it, a Sister of Slaughter, some Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, and then 3 Blackguard of Nagaron sprinkled throughout. And a nasty Seafang just fucks up the Sisters of the Dark Shards. Oh my god. Okay. We also have Malice Darkblade and Sorceress of Fire. Jesus. For Norsca, 2 Marauder Berserkers, 3 Marauder Berserkers overall, then some basic Marauders on the front line. 2 of the Javelin casters. We have a Shaman of Metal with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom, Skinwolves and Ice Wolves throughout the back line, and Wulfric the Wanderer, as we just saw with that Seafang. Burning Head plus the Blackguard of Nagaron are destroying the Norscan front line. Absolutely murdering those fools as it goes through 3 of them, and then it arcs wildly into the Sisters of Slaughter. What is that curve? What is that curve? It's just... Oh my god! Start the game. A boat appears out of nowhere, slices your unit in half. You're like, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's go get in a melee fight. And a burning head from your own team takes a goddamn 90-degree turn. Oh, hey, let's go this direction. Let's just go this direction. What's that? Boom! Kills him. Oh my god. They're just dead. It's an 1,000 gold unit. It's just fucking dead. The Searing Doom hits the front line. A Sister of Slaughter and a Blackguard of Nagaron are already routing. Dogs slipping in a weird staggered diagonal line formation like the Canadian geese of my homeland, Minnesota. Because we have more Canadian geese than all of Canada. I will bet my life on it. There's so many damn Canadian geese here. Anyway. Things have gone to shit pretty quickly for the Dark Elves. Murderous Prowess has not popped yet. The balance of power is heavily against them. Both of their Dark Shards are routing. 2 of their elite infantry are routing, and everybody else is beset by foes. Now, Malice is still a hell of a drug. The last couple times I played Raced, he schooled me in exactly how powerful Malice still is. But a big Searing Doom is just going to hit a giant clump of these soldiers. Now, a second Burning Head that is not going to betray the Dark Elves does go straight through some of their enemies trying to get rid of them. And Malice so far is avoiding Wulfric, but maybe he'll turn around and go see what's up. Loremaster of Sotek did 4 videos going over each DLC and what they might contain. The Khorne DLC seems to be promising no matter which other 2 factions are included. Yeah, Sotek is always strangely prophetic about that, where I am curious if CA tells him things ahead of time so he can do speculations video like that, or if he's just actually that good at guessing, because like he's almost never wrong about what's in the DLCs. Band name The Who is based on a Dark Elf team. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I forgot to cast for a bit. I was talking to all you interesting people. Blackguard are continuing to grind. But that's about it. Malice is trying to keep this little pocket of resistance alive. Meanwhile, some Dread Spears are running around like with chickens with their head cut off as they are all dying horribly. And these Blackguard... Oh, that's a good use of Plague of Rust. I always undervalue Plague of Rust, but then you can just cast it and make Blackguard only have 40 armor, so your Marauder Berserkers can just cleave through them, and that's pretty cool. Norscan Ice Wolves catch the last of the Sisters of Slaughter. and the Dark Shards trying to take out those units. The Sister Slaughter might actually fight back pretty impactfully. Undercasted Searing Doom still takes about a fifth of the HP off of the Blackguard, and Malice continues to battle on, though he's pretty much alone at this point. Is that a Sea Fang or Burning Head? Who's hurting who? It's Burning Head. Ah, the horror! Ah, the horror! But for Corn, I hope it is Urtzal the Skullcracker. My man is some drip. Corn needs a DLC. Corn's a fun faction. They're a cool faction. They just need more depth. The units they have are cool, but the problem is you know exactly what units are coming your way. It's probably a Mino bus, or Fleshhounds spam, or maybe Chaos Warrior spam in like Chosen. But they just need a little more to their roster. Another Plague of Rust onto these poor Blackguard who are currently getting sizzled. Ooh, by the Marauder Hunter Javelins. You know you're having a good game when you can spend your Marauder Hunter Javelins on Blackguard and not feel bad about it. Malice does transform into Zarkan, momentarily buying the Dark Elves a second life on the balance of power, and a huge Reaper of Souls is going to absolutely murder all of these guys. Honestly, those Skin Wolves will run too. And Norsca is in a good position. They don't want to get overconfident, you know, like that, blobbing up too much on Malice so he can get a mass rout and damage at the same time, but time is on their side as they whittle down Malice. So that Burning Head was good, and all of a sudden I'm getting concerned. Getting a little worried. As we do have Blackguard and Dread Spears rallying, Malice continues to battle. Wolfric is chasing off the Firecaster, but she's already cast so many Burning Heads that, I mean, I have to assume she was running low on Winds of Magic at this point. And can Norsca really kill Malice? Because waiting out Malice is a thing we commonly talk about because we're used to talking about Warhammer 2. But I've noticed in Warhammer 3, he doesn't honestly do that much damage to himself. So just waiting for him to die is not usually an effective thing that can be done. Like, yeah, if we had 40 minutes, you could do it, but that you almost never do. Plague of Rust back onto Malice, just trying to get him down on armor so the Skin Wolves can deal with him. Skin Wolves have really high stats and good anti-large, but they don't have incredible armor piercing. Wolfric has killed the Mage. Army losses is close, but at this point, army losses doesn't matter. You just have to kill Malice. And he's unbreakable, so he doesn't care if army losses happens or not. I will ×2 speed as Malice has to grind through an entire army or die. Ooh, that is a very healthy Skin Wolf, though. That's a big problem for him. And Hunter Champions on top of him, 10 melee defense and only 80 armor as he gets beset on all sides by foes. A Plague of Rust is also cast onto him. It's overcast, so he's at 50 armor, and Wolfric's joining back on the fight. Though the Norskins did again do that blob up where they all got hit by the Reaper of Souls. Thankfully for the Skin Wolves, they didn't seem to mind too much, and now Malice is taking buku damage, and this might just be over. As Wolfric is even getting in cycle charges. That'll be that. Complete the Tamarkan stuff with his brothers. I like the Vampire Coast. I kind of hope CA get a little more creative freedom to do stuff. Blackguard honestly did okay, besides the one that got immediately destroyed. Sisters also got immediately destroyed, so they didn't get anything done. Dark Shards were beset by foes too quickly. The Dread Spears and Bleak Swords did alright. The other side for Blood Penguin, 2,200 on Wolfric, 666 for the Plague of Rust and Searing Doom caster. Skin Wolves did fine. Ooh, Skin Wolves did... Okay, one did better than fine. The others did fine. Ice Wolves did well. The frontline Marauders all did great. Oh, wow. Look at those Hunter Javelins. If you're playing Norsca, man, learn from Blood Penguin. Take some of those guys. In almost all of his builds, he has at least just 2 of those Jav throwers, and they always seem to pay for themselves. Cool Umbrella is down, and after a good start from Strat Game, Lenore, Blood Penguin have pulled it back. And Team PPQA, don't know what it stands for. Hopefully nothing vulgar is up. On to Lenore versus Strat Game. Lenore versus Strat Game. Oh, what? He changed his name? He changed his name again. This guy can't figure out what he wants his fucking name to be. Jiminy Christmas, Lenore. It is possible since we got Cathay. Yeah. I like when CA takes some creative license. That's usually good. I always thought Nakai should have been a legendary hero, not a lord. Really? Oh, I don't know why, but I thought you said Nakari, which you definitely didn't. But I thought you said Nakari, and I was thinking of Nakari as a legendary hero. I was like, I don't, I don't know about that one. All right, High Elves versus Skaven. For the Skaven, clan rats, just a lot of clan rats, and then it looks like we have 4 rat ogres, 4 poison globes, more clan rat spears in the back. We do have a packmaster, a chieftain, and Ikat Claw with Cleansing Ruin and Howling Warp Gale. On the other side, for the High Elves, we have an Arcane Phoenix, a Frostheart Phoenix, an Archmage of Death with Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna, 5 Shadow Warriors, and then a bunch of Illyrian Reavers, plus an Ithalmar Chariot. Why an Ithalmar Chariot? Lenorm, you madman. Alright. Shadow Warriors kiting in a little bit. Phoenixes just flying overhead, trying to get off some good bombardments or something like that. I mean, the Skaven are the ones getting shot. It's not like the High Elves have to do anything here. They're doing stuff. Their Shadow Warriors are shooting. Olethanar, though he's not on the battlefield, is making his presence known. Still hoping for what the fuck? Eagle Steerborn to get added. Who the hell is Eagle Steerborn? I wonder if all these Shadow Warriors just fire at the Packmaster, what would happen? I kind of want to see it. Frostheart Phoenix dives into the back, onto the damaged Poisonwind Globes. But Howling Warp Gale is in response. And there's no healing for this little Frostheart Phoenix. The Frostheart Phoenix is the only Phoenix without Rebirth, and we do have a Deathcaster. Charge in from Lenorm that I actually almost missed as the Ithalmar Chariots and Illyrian Reavers are trying to do some good stuff, but they get so clumped up that the globes are just wreaking absolute havoc on them, and that's 2 Illyrian Reaver units essentially dead. Meanwhile, the Frostheart Phoenix is still under attack, still netted to the ground, and the single entity Goon Squad plus a Rat Ogre has come over to say hello to it. Shadow Warriors are continuing to fire on both sides, trading a lot of units. Yeah. Frostheart Phoenix just gets up, and away. I have felt that pain, my Skaven brothers. I have felt that pain. Trying to fight a bird-type unit in melee just doesn't feel good, does it? Trying to shoot at a bird-type unit just doesn't feel good, does it? It just doesn't feel good to fight birds as Skaven. Birds and rats do not mix. You think this is a meme. It is a funny haha meme because in real life, birds usually eat rats like owls and hawks and shit. And I get that that is haha funny, but also in this game, have you ever fought a bird as a Skaven? Have you ever had to fight a bird as Skaven? It's a pain in the dick. They don't take any damage from anything. They don't take any damage from anything. Okay. I digress. Rat Ogres overextend a little bit without any support nearby. The Illyrian Reavers, Ithalmar Chariots, and even the birds themselves, the goddamn birds, are going to go take a fight with them. They tear out off one of the Rat Ogres. And the High Elves have such superior cavalry in this matchup right here that if anything routes, they should be able to run it to the edge of the map. Packmaster's trying to join the fight. Globes are also coming over, and Ikat Claw really wants to get a Cleansing Ruin down onto this Archmage of Death while she's next to the Arcane Phoenix because it's 2 for 1. Mostly you want Cleansing Ruins onto her specifically. That will be your priority, and here it comes. Is it Overcast? It is Overcast. She's going to take a lot of damage. Globes are now supporting the fight, really hurting all of these cavalry that are all blobbed up here in the Archmage of Death trying to get away. The Shadow Warriors continue to fire. Rat Ogres are a good target for them. They should do pretty good damage there as they start melting through those big, unshielded, unarmored boys. Archmage of Death's already down to half HP as Cleansing Ruin takes its toll. The Arcane Phoenix will cover her retreat before trying to get out herself. That Arcane Phoenix is her now, I've just decided. For the Skaven, they are down to the balance of power, but I honestly don't think their position in this game is that bad. They've already taxed the enemy lord to half HP. There's no healing for her, so that is fine. The enemy cavalry has taken a lot of damage. You're withstanding the Shadow Warriors it's all you can do, and then later in the game, they'll have to be a pretty piss-poor melee combatant versus you. Times 2 speed as both forces kind of reform a little bit. The Shadow Warriors continue to fire on the Rat Ogres while in the distance. Frostheart Phoenix keeps routing these Poisonwind Globes, which now I would just let them rally and then fly over them. When they rout one more time, they'll shatter. And Rat Ogres are out there trying to fight it, but again, the Rat Ogre is away from their entire formation with no support. So if there were Illyrian Reavers nearby or something, that Frostheart Phoenix could get in there and rout them, but without proper cav support, that Chariot doesn't really want to take the fight. Skaven have now decided they've had enough of this shit and are going to chase down the Shadow Warriors themselves. All of the cavalry is behind them, and most of the spooky, scary birds aren't in position to do anything about it, though the Arcane Phoenix is just going to fucking dive in there. wonder if the Chieftain gets a new order onto that Arcane Phoenix, because he'll whoop its ass. I generally don't like the Chieftain on a Bonebreaker, but the one thing he's good at is dueling other single entities of a certain size. Another Fate of Buna, this one onto another Poisoned Globe, which after that runs its course, that will shatter and straight up kill the unit. I've seen it a million times. So the Skaven will be down to 1 Poison Wind Globe. Meanwhile, the Arcane Phoenix definitely bit off more than it can chew. It is now surrounded by 3 single entities and taking some serious damage. Shadow Warriors continue to kite away, and they are firing into that Packmaster. The Packmaster and the Chieftain are both really good targets for the Shadow Warriors. Ikit's not as much. He has too much armor. Skaven still getting run around the map. I still don't honestly think they're in that bad of a spot, though this is a whoopsie. That full health Rat Ogre. We can see that they delayed the engagement until all these Illyrian Reavers showed up, and now the Rat Ogres are routing, so they will get picked off. All right. Shadow Warriors, this one finally does get fully caught out. The other 4 are still around. They're still firing, getting really good damage onto the Packmaster. The Clan Rats are getting whittled down. The Archmage of Death is off in the distance. It looks like she took another Flensing Rune while I was not looking, so one more overcasted Flensing Rune will straight up kill her. Shadow Warriors should be able to clean up these Clan Rats, especially with an Arcane Phoenix's support. And man, I'm betting the Skaven wish they had some Wolf Rats right now. Wolf Rats would go burr. I wish Dark Elf players would use the Bloodrock Medusa more. They are not great. Alright, human boy, tell us about where the birds hurt you. Look at that damage onto the Packmaster! Go, Shadow Warriors, go. That was great. That was great. Skaven are getting pulled apart like string trees, yeah. Not a lot of people like kite play. Well, okay, I say that with extreme bias because I don't like kite play. Of the people that don't like kite play, a lot of them do think it's rather slow and boring. We are 7 minutes into this game, but I will say this has been very tactical. While it might not get your blood pumping with like the yeah, fuck, things are slamming into each other, action, let's go, yeah, all that stuff. Like, you have to admit this has been a very chess-like experience where players are making very obvious sacrifices and exploitations that they're trying to do. Like, you know, the Skaven have occasionally had to sacrifice some Rat Ogres or something. I mean, they've made mistakes too, don't get me wrong, but like sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, you can have this like wounded Clan Rat or this wounded Rat Ogre, but I'm going to take some Shadow Warriors. Whereas the High Elves have been more like, okay, you can have this wounded Illyrian Reaver or you can have this single Shadow Warrior, but we're going to get big damage off your Packmaster. We're going to get some Poison Globes and stuff like that. The last Fate of Buna is out, and now it doesn't honestly matter as much if the Archmage of Death dies. With 3 Fate of Bunas out, she's probably about tapped on Winds of Magic, honestly. So if Ikit snipes her, it sucks for the High Elves because they lose some leadership, but she's an okay melee combatant. She's probably out of Winds of Magic, and the High Elves are a roster with so much leadership, they don't mind getting Lord sniped as much. Skaven route off the last of those couple Shadow Warrior units. We have 2 Shadow Warriors in the distance with ammunition. There's also a tattered one here with a couple shots left. They're still firing in. The Skaven are extremely whittled down. Now to an almost heal-capped Packmaster. Ikit Claw's at half HP. A Chieftain that's just fine. And some Clan Rats, some wounded Rat Ogres. The Skaven have seen better days, my friends. Yeah. What up, Rainy Frog? How you doing? Seeing people kite as the Dread Saurian, kite the Dread Saurian when they have nothing in their army that can actually kill it in any circumstances is the bane of my energy. Okay, yeah, that sucks. But clearly, like, the High Elves are kiting because they're trying to win here, and the Skaven are doing their best to like actually catch up. Like, both of these sides have a pretty equal chance. Flensing Ruin, is it overcast? It is overcast, so that might just outright kill that lady. As the Shadow Warriors continue to fire the last of their abilities, she does straight up die. The balance power still favors the High Elves as they now take an engagement. These Ithilmar chariots charge in, take a big shot from the Packmaster and the Chieftain. More Illyrian Reavers are streaming by. Can the birds do it? They're going to try and snipe out Ikit Claw, which is smart. If you can get rid of Ikit, then the rest of this army's leadership will falter so much that you could probably take them all out. But if Ikit stays standing, then the Skaven might actually stand and fight, and then you might run into a problem, because you see the High Elves are just about out of gas. Like, you have some Shadow Warriors with no ammunition, but they're melee combatants. You have a chariot, and then your horsemen are also pretty fucked up, and they're just Illyrian Reavers in the first place. It's not like these are Dragon Princes or anything. Like, they're light cavalry. Frostart Phoenix is taking a fight with the Packmaster and the Chieftain. It's currently not having a good time of it. The Arcane Phoenix is trying to get out of here, and Ikit Claw continues to just avoid being sniped and doing a little bit of charging onto Shadow Warriors and such. For the Skaven, we have one Rat Ogre still in the fight, and some of these Clan Rats are wavering, but still here. But Ikit Claw does end up getting soloed. He's trying to drive away, but the Frostart Phoenix is on his ass too. And that is a, late game Cleansing Ruin. It is also Overcast, and Ikit does not take Overcast damage. Very lucky for him. I also don't think he took Overcast on unlimited power, so very, very good stuff. And it's even onto the Frostart Phoenix, because the Arcane Phoenix has that rebirth we were talking about. Frostart doesn't, so any damage onto it will stick. Very good target selection there from Strat Game and the Skaven. And now the balance of power is creeping back towards the middle for each tick of that Cleansing Ruin. Still 12 seconds left on it, as the Frostart Phoenix is thinking about rejoining the fight, but doesn't want to hurt its arcane friend, so it will back off for now, just waiting 5 more seconds on that. Shadow Warriors and Illusion Reavers are closing in, though. The Clan Rats continue to do battle, though their leadership is faltering. The Arcane Phoenix's leadership is also routing. Holy shit, is he going to rout? He does rout before he gets his regrowth. All of a sudden, the balance of power heavily favors the Skaven. Unless that Arcane Phoenix can rally, this is just doomed. It does get its rebirth off, and now you can see how wildly healthy it is. That's what the High Elves wanted, but it routed first. Now the balance of power is again going against them, because if that Arcane Phoenix is not allowed to get away and rally, that means the High Elves have to continue fighting with their tattered forces. And if everything routs at once, then they'll just army loss. It won't matter how healthy the Arcane Phoenix now is. Howling Warp Gale keeps it and the Frostheart in place as the Chieftain beats the brakes off of that little Ice Bird. And the Packmaster continues to chase the Arcane Phoenix. Things are looking real bad for the High Elves at this point. Illyrian Reavers are trying to cycle charge as best they can. Shadow Warriors keep routing. They don't hold. And it gets so low. Can the birds come back and go snipe that little rat in a wheel? That's an Arcane Phoenix. I thought it was a normal Phoenix that kept rebirthing. Nah, dude, nah. Rainy Frog, shouldn't you be happy that there's rain? Surely the Chariots will solo the entire single entity blob. Alright, the Arcane Phoenix is up in the sky, which means it'll get away and come back. That is a second breath for the High Elves in this game. Clan Rats at almost breaking, but they now get some reinforcements from the Chieftain and these little spears. The Arcane Phoenix is back. And I was just checking for which of the Skaven are summons, but there aren't any summons because it's Ikit, it's not a Plague Caster. Gotcha. Frostart Phoenix is off the map officially. Skaven are regrouping a bit. Fast forward real quick. A Chariot, a 1/3 HP Shadow Warrior, and a heal-capped, less than half HP Arcane Phoenix versus all this. A heal-capped Packmaster, an almost dead Ikit, and a full health Chieftain. Arcane Phoenix was waiting for some of its Shadow Warriors to get involved. It does go for the Lord Snipe onto Ikit Claw, lands on him, misses the charge attack, wanders after him. It's not able to get the attack off, and a Howling Warp Gale stops it in its tracks. Ikit stays safe. And now the Chieftain and the Packmaster are closing in. They get stopped by some of their own rats, and the Arcane Phoenix gets back up into the sky. But more and more High Elf units are shattering away here. It's looking tough. Ikit is isolated, though, and the Arcane Phoenix is going for him. You can see the Packmaster and the Chieftain are immediately pathing towards him. They know they have to protect him. And the Arcane Phoenix misses another charge attack and just takes off into the sky. It biffed it so bad. It lands again, but again misses the charge attack. Like, doesn't actually complete the animation. Finally gets a hit off onto Ikit Claw, but it's too late. Now it is surrounded by Rat Ogres and the Chieftain and the Packmaster. I have to imagine he's not getting away from that, as the Ithamar Chariot is the last thing besides the Phoenix that is even staying in the fight. Balance of power goes significantly against the High Elves, and I have to agree. As Ikit stays safe, all the Molder monsters hit the Arcane Phoenix, and that is probably GG. Yeah, there we go. Almost 4,000 value on Ikit Claw. His hero core did okay. The Rat Ogre that didn't get isolated and picked off got 1,700 value. Globes didn't really get too much done because they got Fate of Bunid, and the Clan Rats actually did well. On the other side, 2,500 on the Fate of Bunid caster. The Phoenixes got a combined value of about 1,400, which is not that great, unfortunately. Shadow Warriors did overall pretty fine. Illyrian Reavers did overall okay. GG. G indeed, which keeps the Night Crew lads in contention. Black Knight versus John FB is the end of the first round. Remember, as I have mentioned a couple times, but in case you were not here for the very start, we are treating the teams as the same player, so one team cannot repeat the same faction ever. John FB's Dwarves versus Black Knight's Empire. A matchup that is traditionally thought to be very Dwarven favored. Actually, the last 4 times I've seen it in Warhammer 3, the Empire has come out with a victory. That could be a mix of very good Empire players playing it, but I have noticed that since there's been some buffs to greatswords, that has really helped the Empire out in this matchup, and also people have just been spamming handgunners, which is not the case here. For the Empire, we do have 1 handgunner, the Silver Bullets, 4 greatswords, the Hellstorm Rocket Battery, ooh, not the Sunmaker, just the Hellstorm Rocket Battery. I don't know if I agree with that. We have a Jade Wizard with Earthblood, Karl Franz, and 3 Empire Knights. There's the 3rd one. On the other side, for the Dwarves of John FB, you have a front line of 5 Miners with Blasting Charges, 5 Rangers, 2 Bugman's Rangers, Belagar Ironhammer, butt naked, and then some Slayers, some Longbeards, more Slayers, more Longbeards, and Dwarf Warriors. Now, I understand that John wanted the Rangers because they can't be targeted since they're stalking, but I will say he's positioned them so close to the Miners with Blasting Charges on the advance that they are taking collateral damage. Because as the Hellstorm is wildly inaccurate, it'll fire over the head of its real target, and it's going to hit both the Miners and the Rangers. Okay, or just miss both of them. Okay, that's also fine. Franz landed on some Miners to try and get a little bit of damage up, and now he's getting shot at almost point-blank range by Rangers, and Slayers are moving up. Meanwhile, Empire Knights charging these Miners, again trying to stop them from using those deadly blasting charges onto the Spearmen. It was only partially successful, and half health a unit of Spearmen is just gone. This Empire Knight is also kind of getting gunned down by the Bugman's Rangers. I think the Empire will have to reconsider this strategy, as it does not seem to be working out. Franz and his Empire Knights are taking more damage than it appears worth. I guess they are killing some Miners, but like 66 models out of 100 are still alive, and they're now just going to throw at these Spearmen and delete them. It seems a bit rough. Rocket Battery is still firing. Great Swords are moving up. Well, some of them are. They're kind of moving up in a half-ass fashion, but some Great Swords are moving up to deal with the Dwarven Menace. Franz continues to fight it out. It's interesting that he's not going for Belagar. You would think that he would just want a Lord Snipe, but I suppose Belagar's not a large target, so it's not the best for him. Franz maybe was here in case of Thoric Ironbrow, but then when there's no Thoric, there's no one to go fight. Don't know. Hellstorm Rock Battery continues to fire, but the Dwarves are desperately trying to get their archers in range of it so they can just fire at it and take it out. Unlike the Sunmaker, which shoots its load in like 5 giant volleys and that's the end of it, this guy still has tons of ammunition, so the Dwarves really want to get into range with their archers and shut him down. Meanwhile, the Empire is desperately trying to stop that, throwing Great Swords and Empire Knights into the fray to just stop the Dwarven advance, give the Hellstorm Rocket Battery some more time to fire. Balance Power is dead even. And not all Dwarf games are slow. We're only 3 minutes into this game. There's also been a significant amount of damage. Silver Bullets are firing over at Rangers, but Archer units will almost always outtrade Gunpowder units in a traditional ranged fight. Gunpowder units are better at closer ranges, so... yeah, the Rangers are winning this, and there's Dwarf Warriors rolling up on them. Franz is doing the big fight. Spearmen are trying to deal with some Miners. Meanwhile, the Dwarven northern flank has gone well. For the center, I mean, like, the Dwarves haven't won it yet, but it's looking pretty good for them. And on the southern flank, it's still very contested. Though with Great Swords and Empire Knights here, a lot of Dwarves are going to meet their end. Belgar is cool, very tanky. Yeah. Gregory, you win this round. You win this round. Surely Thoric would have been better for this build. John FB might just be having fun. John FB is the type of player that does whatever he feels like doing in the moment. Yeah. He's a silly memester, but he's also a good friend because I fucking love that guy. Love John FB in this house. Alright. Balance Power is still about dead even. I feel like the Dwarves are getting the upper hand, as Franz and some Great Swords are continuing to clear out stuff. I just feel like they're running out of space, right? This Rocket Battery is trying to run away. The Silver Bullets are trying to run away as more and more Dwarves close in. Though I'm noticing none of the Dwarven archers managed to get here. They all got pushed back somehow. And now they're going to try to form a conclave to fire in on these greatswords from all sides as Slayers try and peel them off. That'll do good damage to those greatswords, but it will allow the rocket battery to retreat and get somewhere safe, because, I mean, Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors just, like, can't catch up to it. Silver Bullet's also kiting back. Greatswords are here to help out. Spearmen also trying to hold back Dwarf Warriors as Belgar himself has come to play. Miners running away and throwing blasting charges at Empire Knights. The Dwarfs have secured some of their archers, though greatswords absolutely cleave through these little rangers down on the ground. Yeah. Both sides were out at the same time, though. It's good for you. Slayers probably want to back off. They're catching strays from these rangers right now. Longbeards on the front line are chilling, and Franz and his Empire Knights are actually cleaning up a lot of the dwarves. As for the Empire, we have 2 healthy greatswords left, some wounded troops around, a healthy Silver Bullets, a healthy Hellstorm Rock Battery with a lot of ammo, though I don't know if they'll ever get to fight again. Franz is chilling, and we have some more Empire Knights for sweeping up things. For the dwarves, we have 2 healthy Slayers, a whole bunch of archers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, yeah, pretty much 4. 4 archers, a lot of chaff, though the Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors are not really near their archers. So I do wonder if the Empire Knights get onto them, what will the archers do? Not sure. Franz dives onto Belgar Ironhammer for a big fight. Galmaraz is popped to give him 50% more arm-piercing damage. The bonus versus large is entirely wasted onto someone like Belgar, but, I mean, still, Franz has good stats. Earthblood to heal all of them up. Belgar continues to take fight, and I like how the Life Wizard got between them, trying to say, like, guys, stop fighting. We're supposed to be the Alliance of Order, and you two are tearing each other apart. Belgar says, fuck you, manling, and shoves him out of the way, etc., yada yada. And the Silver Bullets continue firing at Longbeards, while the Hellstorm Rocket Battery is kiting. The Hellstorm Rocket Battery is kiting. That's the world we live in now. Anyway. Empire Knights are streaming in to try and get these Longbeards out of here as the Silver Bullets continue to flee from them. Belgar gets taken out by Karl Franz entirely, and the Hellstorm Rocket Battery continues to try its best and miss every single goddamn shot. Longbeards might just catch the Hellstorm Rocket Battery, but can they do enough damage quickly enough to it? I suppose they're not that injured. It's not like his Empire Knights are going to straight up kill the Longbeards, but still, not great. Belgar continues to get sniped up by Franz. Some of these archers are returning to the fight, though honestly, that guy is almost out of ammo. These 2 are almost dead, so really you have 2 archers to actually worry about, as the handgunners are trying to fire at Slayers, and then they realize they're getting shot and start to run away. Hellstorm Rocket Battery continues to kite away, though they're so close to the edge of the map that if the Longbeards can manage to rout them, they should just fly straight off the map. Franz is fighting Rangers as Slayers catch up to him. He does need to be a little careful. And the Empire has some super tattered remains coming up the rear trying to flank these guys, but the Dwarfs don't care. They can kill those guys pretty easily. Hellstorm Rocket Battery crew continues to persist, continues to survive. They even abandon ship and just run for it. And now the Longbeards are having troubles keeping up now that those guys aren't pushing along a giant rocket launcher. More Longbeards and Dwarves are streaming in. The Empire's rallying the last of their great swords here. I wonder what the Rangers will shoot at. They got... Oh, no. That's a big mistake. These Bugman's Rangers are walking straight up to greatswords who are streaming in towards them. Ah, that's a big mistake. One of your last 2 archers that are actually quite healthy. Yeah, the other archer was the one Franz was kicking the shit out of. So this is your healthiest archer, and it unfortunately just wandered up to a greatsword and is now getting chased down. Franz is back here, trying to rout off some of these Longbeards. They are ITP. The Slayers are unbreakable. So that'll be a tough ask, to be sure. Slayers look like they're finally going after the Jade Wizard. They don't want Franz and the rest of these Empire fools to keep getting Earthbloods or anything like that. The Empire continues to run around circles. Great swords cleaving through Bugman's Rangers. No one nearby to stop them. There's other Rangers, but fat chance you can do anything about that. Though the Bugman's Rangers are actually technically faster, so maybe they could outrun the Great Swords, though it's generally unlikely. Usually when 2 things have roughly the same speed, the one chasing will catch it just due to, like, charge things. Not that I agree with it, just saying. I'm getting a lot of messages. Who's messaging me? Okay. I see. Sorry. 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 I got distracted by messages, making sure they weren't important. Did I miss anything? The Empire is continuing to run down all these dwarves spread out across the map. The Hellstorm Rock Batter crew actually did get routed by, it looks like Slayers. Looks like Slayers caught them. But do they rally? I would not put it past these cheeky fucks to rally at the very edge and just get back on their mount. Nobody notices. Come on, rally. Do it. Do it. No. Well, I don't know if they actually went off the map yet before it ended. I don't know. Okay, cool. Late tournament, I see. It's not a tournament, it's more of an event, but yeah. Franz did fine. Hellstorm Rocket Battery, honestly, after everything it went through, it got pretty bad value. Like, how long he kept it firing and it just managed to pay for itself, that shit made me sad. Great Swords did well. State Troops did okay. Empire Knights did a lot of good work. GG's. For John FB, Belagar struggled. There's a reason you see Thoric all the time. While Thoric does need nerfs, the other Dwarven Lords for sure need buffs. It's not like, oh, they're okay, but Thoric is so broken. It's like, nah, dude, these guys suck ass. Yeah. All right, GG. GG. Let's take you over to the Photoshop. So after the first round, we do have 3 and 3. John FB is knocked out entirely. Cool Umbrella is knocked out entirely. Lenorm lost a life. Black Knight lost a life. But there's still more to do. Game 7. So after this point, we just told the people to schedule as you can. So Game 7. It is Empire versus Ogres. Empire switching sides. So neither side will be able to play Empire after this game. What up, Tequila Sunset? How you doing? And this is our first seeing Ogres, despite the fact that they are widely agreed to be an S or A+ tier faction, depending on who you talk to. Interesting that they got all the way to Game 7 before being picked by either side. For the forces of the Empire, Blood Penguin's other favorite faction besides Bretonnia, we have Karl Franz once again, a Jade Wizard with Regrowth and Earthblood, 3 Huntsmen, 2 Halberdiers, 5 Spearmen in the front line, 3 Empire Knights, and of course, a Demigryph Knight with Halberd, because how can you fight Ogres without a Demigryph Knight with Halberd? A unit that I constantly shit-talk all the time. But whatever. This is a matchup where it can do okay. On the other side, for the Ogres of, I believe this was Strat game, but I've already forgotten because I have a rat memory. 2 basic Gnoblars, 5 Gnoblar Trappers, a bunch of Ogre Bulls with dual weapons, and then some Iron Guts. We have the Powder Guts, the Maneater Pistol, ROR, 2 Saber Tusk packs for a little bit of mobility pressure, and a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw with Brain Gobbler and Troll Guts. The Empire's firing back with their Huntsmen as the Ogres decided to just shoot with 5 Gnoblar Trappers into the enemy front line before charging it. They just want to get that damage out. Brain Gobbler is popped onto the Spearmen with shields, getting them to rout before the charge even comes in, just giving the Ogres a free hand into the backline and to get some of their army passive charged up by killing routing things. Franz has landed into Gnoblar Trappers and Ogre Bulls. It looks like he's going to rout them both off in short order. And the Saber Tusk packs are trying to get engaged on the side, but Demigryph Knights with Halberds are coming screaming in for those poor doggos. And the dogs are much faster, but charge bonus is a hell of a drug. They get caught, and if they take enough damage, they will Rampage, forcing them to just sit and fight the Demigryph Knights, which they don't want to do. There is the Rampage, so this unit is just dead no matter what happens. For the rest, some Empire Knights have been pulled forward to try and support the front line, which has already fallen apart. Huntsmen are continuing to shoot at the Ogres, who are taking a lot of damage, but they are pushing through, and Franz himself is down to half HP as those Maneater pistols take their day out on him. Saber Tusk packs are routing, but they have plenty of leadership. They will be back. The Demigryph Knights with Halberds are opting out, but the Empire is making this center area an absolute kill zone as Ogre bodies just litter the ground, and all of those routing flags. The Ogre's initial charge has been completely blunted, and these Gnoblar Trappers are acting more like archers than basic infantry, which leaves your Ogres without any support, and they are getting knocked down for their efforts. Now, the Ogres are still plenty in this game. While all of their bulls are routing, they still have very healthy Nobblar Trappers. We have a couple healthy Iron Guts around. The Man-Eater Pistols are full HP. The Slaughtermaster is also chilling. We have some more Iron Guts on the flank. For the Empire, their state troops have been largely crumped, now relying on some wounded halberdiers, one spearman, and that's about it. Their Empire Knights have taken a lot of damage since they had to act like frontline troops, and Franz himself is at half HP due to the focused attention of those Man-Eaters. Man-Eaters are incredible in melee, and they are really good at range. The only thing they are weak to is getting shot by the enemy range, because when they're losing combat, you see they get these big stats, but those stats don't help you when you're getting shot by Huntsmen. So really good Huntsman fire so far, and those guys might honestly even need a Troll Guts from their caster. Can Franz and the Demigryphs and the Huntsman carry? We will find out as Franz dives in on Nobblar Trappers. Their leadership is so low, they immediately tear out, and they are out of here. The Man-Eater Pistols, though, they turn, they get attack orders back on Franz, and they will poke him down. They do a lot of damage. A lot. Iron Guts and Nobblars trying to get into this backline, trying to stop those Huntsmen. They do get hit by the Demigryph Knights with halberds. The Iron Guts are getting shredded by those elite Knights. Though they'll do some trading, and if the Ogres have any army passive, maybe they can even throw a Butcher over this way if they felt like it. The Empire's starting to get the upper hand, though. These state troops are holding just long enough. The Huntsmen aren't getting enough of what they need to do done. And now some Ogre Bulls might actually catch them. There is nothing in their way now, and the Demigryph Knights abandon their fight with the Iron Guts to come deal with this. Franz also dives in. That should be another terror out to stop the Ogres, but there's more Ogres coming in from the north. There's too many Ogres! You can't flee from them all! As now the Iron Guts are left behind by these Empire Knights, which could leave them open to go get those Huntsmen. And Franz is taking an absolute shellacking as the Powder Guts continue to make his life just miserable. Slaughtermaster is also going to charge in, but this actually just blocks the Powder Guts from being able to see him. So yeah, he fucks off, and I think that's the correct thing. I haven't seen a lot of healing. I don't know what the Slaughtermaster has been spending his Winds of Magic on, but I have not seen a lot of Troll Guts or anything like that, and he needs to use those and quick. Maybe on himself, maybe on the Powder Guts. I haven't seen Butchers either. I don't know where the Ogre's army abilities and spells are going. I just don't. Franz is very injured. He does rout off the Slaughtermaster, who gets a Butcher cast onto himself just so that he wouldn't die outright. Those Huntsmen are finally beset by foes. Ogre Bull's going to sneak up on those injured ones on the high ground. These ones on the low ground are very low. Balance of Power is still dead even 5 minutes into this game, and both armies have had the shit kicked out of them. That is a 5-minute game for both sides. They'll lose absolutely everything. Now the Huntsmen are gone. Franz has healing left he can receive, but he is getting close to that healing cap. Demigryph Knights have plenty of healing left that they can get if the Jade Wizard is kept alive. But other than that, the Empire is about toast. For the Ogres, we have some tattered remains of Iron Guts and Ogre Bulls. We have a healthy Slaughtermaster, but he's not much of a combatant. He really is only here for... He really only is here for spells and stuff, so it's mostly on the Man-Eaters. And now that I say that out loud, that means the Ogre's melee is pretty much down to just these Powder Guts, who are not looking so hot, so they'll need a Troll Guts or something. Overcasted Brain Gobbler is here, though. If you overcast it, just so you know, it doesn't change the effect at all. It's not AoE, it's not more leadership debuff, it just lasts longer. So I don't love overcasting it, I usually just undercast it. Are Stonehorns too expensive, or do they just suck in multiplayer? They're good in a few matchups, but generally they're too expensive. And like, the problem with a Stonehorn is that it can get this incredible charge down the side of a unit that can kill the entire unit, and it's amazing and awesome. Or it can stop dead on the first unit, decide to attack that one, and do nothing with its charge. And the fact that you can't decide which is which, like you can't decide that, feels very random, and a lot of competitive players don't like to win or lose based on random. They like consistent, obvious, repeatable tactics. Not a lot of people like to bet on chance, which is also why you don't see the Luminarch a ton. Is like the Luminarch, even with all the buffs it gets, it's just like too random. There are games where it'll win you the whole game. There are games where it'll throw the fucking thing, and you just don't know. All right, do we have a Troll Guts or anything for these Powder Guts as they charge into melee? They are losing now, so look at that stat buff, 74-76, which does them good. Slaughtermaster is here. He throws a Dismember down on these guys to slow them a bit. Franz is the Reichel and Runefang and Stand Your Ground pop, though. Then they just wear off as soon as I say that. More Nobblars and Iron Guts are running in, but a regrowth shows up for the Demigryph Knights, and still the Ogres do not have a response. They don't have a Troll Guts to deal with this. Saber-Tooth Pack's trying to keep those Huntsmen out of the fight as these other Huntsmen have snuck up here and they are offering a little bit of support. Iron Guts are going to rout. Powder Guts holding on, fighting to the very end. But they need some healing. In the back, more Nobblar Trappers and Iron Guts get rid of some stuff. Empire Knights in the distance have rallied. They could rejoin the fight. We'll see if it even matters. It looks like this game is about to end one way or the other. As Franz dives back in, if he routs that Slaughtermaster, this is donezo. And I think I see a terror route coming in on the horizon. If he gets one more big hit in, that'll be a terror route. There's the hit. Is Human Boy a liar? There's the terror route. I'm no liar, and that's the end of the game. Oof, rip. Saber-Tusk equal doggos. They're essentially dogs. Franz, 1,300 value. Demi fights the Halberds, almost 2,000. Empire Knights did okay. They just had to support the front line. Halberdiers did fine. Huntsmen got their weight in gold back. For strat game, Powder Guts, 3,800 damage value on my favorite regiment of renown of the Ogres. Ogre Bulls did okay. Struggled their value back. Saber-Tooth Packs did okay as well. Nobblar Trappers did fantastically. And the basic Nobblers were around. GG. Dump too much Winds of Magic on Brain Gobbler. Yep. I think it's only worth it undercast and to get rid of key targets. Because there's just no Troll Guts. There's no Troll Guts for the Man-Eaters. Alright, I am going to decide that this strat game is the one that was eliminated because it could be either strat game. Doesn't really matter. Alright. Then, Blood Penguin turned his sights upon Black Knight. Taking Zinch. Now Black Knight busts out the Bretonnia, thanks to the cast hubs. Strat game is not over, but hell yeah, brother. We saw your very painful Skaven versus High Elf game where you clutched it out, you and Lenorm. You got kited by 3 birds and a bunch of Shadow Warriors. That looked super painful, but you did it. What's so special about the Ogre ROR? The Man-Eater Pistol ROR has an ability that when it's under attack, if it's losing melee combat, it gets 24 melee attack and melee defense. Which makes it very, very good. Alright, so this is the last time you'll see Bretonnia in this event, as they were previously played by Blood Penguin. Now Black... Ooh, actually, that's funny. It's Blood Penguin versus Black Knight, but this time Black Knight has Bretonnia, and he's like, how does it feel? How does it feel when I have the OP faction? Black Knight took 4 bowmen, a whole bunch of men-at-arms, 2 Knights of the Realm, 1 Grail Knight, and 2 more Knights of the Realm. So 4 Knights of the Realm and a Grail Knight. Plus Lewin, of course. And then a Heal caster with just Earthblood. For Zinch and Blood Penguin, we have 2 Marauder Horsemen of Zinch, Kairos Fate Weaver with Blue Fire, Regrowth, and his Net ability. Then we have some Chaos Warriors with Halberds and Chosen of Zinch with 3 Blue Horrors in the backfield to offer a little bit of pew-pew. That's a super cool ROR. It is actually my favorite. I love the Powder Guts for the Ogre units. It's not my favorite ROR in the whole game, but it is my favorite Ogre one. Lewin is chasing around Kairos, but he is getting kited a bit. I wonder if Blood Penguin's going to bother with the Gaze of Fate on him, or if it's just not worth it. Because Lewin's pretty tanky to missile fire. He's shielded, has missile resist, has ward save, and then he has self-healing. Anyway, Bretonnia's peasants are in range. They can start firing on the Blue Horrors or the Skirmish Cavalry now. A nice blue fire goes down the line of these Grail Knights, who in Lance formation are just perfect targets for that, but they take very little damage, once again, because of that ward save we mentioned earlier, plus just a really high armor pool. Zinch should win the frontline fight with Chosen and Chaos Warriors, but they have no cavalry presence whatsoever. I mean, 2 Skirmish Cavalry is not what I'm talking about, as these Knights of the Realm are free and clear to do whatever they want on the back line of Zinch. They are just going to plow through some Blue Horrors real fast. They won't kill him super quickly, but they'll do fine. And Lewin is also free and clear to fight Kairos, because what's Kairos going to do? Like, even if he lands, there's no one to support him. He would have to land in Halberds on the front line. Meanwhile, the Grail Knights and the Knights of the Realm just raffle stomp straight through more blue horrors. We already have 2 blue horrors, demonic instability crumbling, and the third one is up here. It is also solo from the archers that is already demonic instability crumbling as well. And Zinch all of a sudden lost all of their ranged, and now their skirmish cav is under attack. Kairos is still being bullied. And in the meantime, all these halberds, all this stuff is being forced to just fight the front line. They're not getting anywhere near the cavalry they want to be dealing with, and they're just killing peasants. What up, Dave? How you doing? How you doing? Avalanche mortars, yes, are the best. My favorite ROR is, if I had to pick one ROR in the whole game, it is probably the Teeth Breakers. I love the Teeth Breakers. I have always loved the Teeth Breakers. They're not the best ROR, but they are my favorite. I love them. I think the Teeth Breakers are great. I don't think they're a good unit, but I do think they're emotionally great. The best ROR in the game, honestly, might be the Avalanche Mortars, but I would have to think much more deeply about it. That is rough. You need mass versus Bretonnia. Yeah. Zinch is currently having a bad time. They are down to just halberd, infantry, and Kairos. Nothing else is left. And if Bretonnia effectively manages it, they can just cycle charge the halberd infantry to death or kite them out with arrows. Things are getting a little spooky. I will fast forward just in case you are particularly riveted by Lewin flying in circles around Kairos and Bretonnia trying to cycle charge these halberds. So it's like, the whole question is, can you cycle charge effectively enough, or is your micro not good enough that Black Knight will leave cavalry in combat for too long with halberds like this? Like that Knights of the Realm, that's the mistakes we're looking for, because when you do that, they will die. But if you cycle charge effectively versus halberds that are in combat with other peasants and shit, then you can get effectively infinite damage out. Lewin lands, and with his Knights of the Realm, he is trying to get good damage down, though he's now fighting Chaos Warriors with halberds and other Chaos Warriors. Trying to cycle charge a little bit here, though he is staying in the fight. Finally gets a tear out of both them, and if it turns into a natural rout, then those, yeah, Knights of the Realm just run those guys down. They're doomed. Chaos Warriors of Zinch also routing over there. So we have 2 Chosen of Zinch with halberds and Kairos Fate Weaver left. Bretonnia has 3 archers that are still alive. They're now trying to shoot at Kairos and the Chosen. And Bretonnia is starting to cycle charge around these guys a little bit, though Kairos does throw a regrowth onto one of the Chosen, because it's super cool that Kairos has regrowth. That's just a thing that Zinch should have. More chasing ensues as Lewin just follows him around, and the Chosen of Zinch try to kill literally everybody in the whole game. Grail Relique is almost dead. Probably wants to sit outside of the fighting. Does it need to be in melee to get its buffs? No. Okay, so it should sit outside the fighting and just not get hit by Chosen, but it looks like it doesn't give a shit what I have to say. It is going to die for the Horned Rat. Goodbye, Grail Relique. Kairos is getting real low. He's almost heal capped too. The Chosen are just getting worked down by the cycle charging of Bretonnia, and that is that. As a big tier 3 army ability kills all of the peasants, but it's too late for that to matter. HyperX Quadcast Fire Mike. I heard you on Hotline League and I subscribed to Media. I'm a huge Total War player. This is a great channel, man. Hey, Dave. Zinch beginning some new units, true? Soon true. Joe Turk, how you doing? My Saurus-loving friend. That's right, I remember you. Best ROR, obviously, Dreadstory. Dave, you heard me on Hotline League. Then you subscribed to this channel. That must mean you agree with my Hotline League take. That's it. I'm shutting this channel down. We're switching over. We're now League of Legends casters. My opinion was validated one time, and therefore I must switch games. Nah, dude. Hey, did you see NRG versus TL? I caught the first 2 games, then I had to start streaming this, but my brother texted me what the results were, so I know. If you don't know, I'll shut up. If you do know, let me know, and then I have words. What's Hotline League? It's a League of Legends podcast show where dumb fucks like myself can call in and give shit takes about the video game. But they allow it. They allow it. It's good. It's hosted by a guy I've been a fan of for several years. Travis Gafford. Does interviews and stuff with pros. For the cleanliness of this picture, I'm going to decide it's that Blood Penguin that was killed, but it's one of Blood Penguin's 2 lives here. Right. All right, what are we at? Where are we at? So we just did that one. And then next up is Strat Games Final Life versus Lenorm's Final Life. And again, Lenorm being silly, changing his name around. Definitely didn't have scheduling issues. Definitely didn't have to step in because Lenorm is over in the EU and Strat Game works pretty late and is in the NA. So it was late night versus early, and it just like was not working. Definitely not. That's not what happened. This is 100% Lenorm playing the Chaos Dwarves. Yes, sir. All right. I'm assume that you watched that. Spoilers for NRG versus TL in 3, 2, 1. NRG 3-0'd my boys. We're stopping. We're stopping. Hold on. Everybody shut up. I need to talk to Dave for a second. They 3-0'd my boys. Now, Summit. If you don't want spoilers, check out now. Summit, my boy, my man. You pick Gnar. He has a 20% win rate. What's the plan? What's the plan? Oh, you built Hullbreaker, so you're gonna split push? No, you immediately group up for the rest of the game with a fucking Hullbreaker? Okay, cool. So you're gonna team fight. Fine, you're team fighting with a non-team fighting item, but that's fine. Your Mega Gnar, all 4 of them are against a wall. And your support gets them, I think actually, no, it's Piosik. Your jungler roots them in place next to a wall, and you throw a Q and then run away. Alt them! You picked Gnar. You're at the team fight. You might as well participate. You're already here. Alt them, for the love of God. No, run away from your team and their team so you're alone. And then all 5 of the enemy go, hey, that bitch is alone, and go kick his ass? Is that what's gonna happen? Oh, then when you're fucked, you solo ult a Rel? A Rel. That's what you used your ult on. Not all of them, a Rel. Got it, Summit. Killed it. All right, game 2. You picked Kennen. You have a big whooshy whoosh ult that hits everybody. Are you gonna whooshy whoosh all of them? No? You're gonna AFK with your whole team next to the Soul Dragon? All of you just stand there getting poked by an Ezreal with your collective dicks in your hands? Just standing there? Nobody wants to go in? Oh shit, we're all half HP because we've been standing here getting shot by an Ezreal for like 6 minutes straight? Let's try to run away? Where are we gonna go? Nowhere, because you're fucked! Tia, what were you doing? Oh my god. Games 1 and 2 tilted me so hard. Just so hard. And my brother and I were talking about it a ton. Summit was not playing good. He was not playing good at all. All right. I'll get back to Total War in just a second. But that was a tragedy. Watching his Gnar, I was trying to work out. So I could get to this stream. And I stopped, and I just stared at the screen for the last 3 team fights of game 1 as, like, Summit's Gnar just did nothing. He just kept running away, and I'm like, go in! Why did you pick Gnar if you don't want to click your alt button? Please, for the love of God, just go in! Anyway. Okay. All right, I'm here, I'm focused. We're doing Total War stuff, I know. Elves name more famous couple, yeah, dude. That shit was funny. Summit 1G, yeah, dude. All right, let's get on with this. So, for Lenorm's build, we do have a Lammasu, a Great Taurus, the Demon's Tongue Iron Demon, a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire with Burning Head and Cascading Fire Cloak, 2 Kadai Fireborn, a bunch of Hobgoblin Archers, 4 Hobgoblin Wolf Riders, and then a Goblin and Orc Laborer frontline. For the Greenskins of Strat Game, we have 4 Boar Boy Biggins, one of which is the Broken Tusks mob, 4 Squig Herds, 4 Goblins, and then we do have a whole bunch of Archers and 2 Stone Trolls, plus Wurzag dancing alone on foot. But that Burning Head just straight up killed the Rusty Urs, and then these Goblin Archers try to dodge going forwards, but the Burning Head curves into them and takes out 2 for 1. Now the Iron Demon, the big badass tank that it is, goes rolling into melee combat with the Swamp Things and the Goblins. Goblins are already routing, the Squigs aren't gonna feel so good. The Iron Demon is here to party. Now we do have Hobgoblins coming around the flanks. Chaos Dwarfs have a lot of good flank pressure here. I mean, there are 4 Orc Boar Boy Biggins, but we have 7 if you include the Iron Demon. We have 7 mobility pieces back here, so if they are managed well, the Chaos Dwarfs should be able to dictate the pace of the game. The Demon's Tongue is back here distracting some of the Orc Boar Boys. Meanwhile, Wurzag is getting sniped out a little bit by the Lammasu, but he is going to get away, and now the Lammasu is beset by Orc Boar Boy Biggins. More single entities try and snipe Wurzag, and the train is actually just pushing him away to safety. Now, in the meantime, the Greenskins have won the frontline fight. These Hobgoblin archers are doing their best to push back these guys, but one of the Kadai Fireborn is already dead, the other one is barely holding on. The Lamassu and the Great Taurus are completely surrounded in very angry pig cav, so not having a great time there. One Hobgoblin Wolf Rider is chasing off the Rusty Arrows, but now more Hobgoblin Wolf Riders are running in. They're going for those archers yet again. Chaos Dwarves are slightly up on the balance of power. Things are going okay. The River Trolls are routing, though some squigs and stuff have got onto the back line, so the Hobgoblin archers aren't feeling so good. Another Burning Head to get rid of that Goblin Archer that escaped. The Lamassu and the Great Taurus are overcommitted and not running. This one's now trying to run. Great Taurus still has not gotten orders to run away, because whoever is piloting them is being a little dumb, a little stupid, and it might be me. Demon's Tongue decides to stop and fire at these guys, trying to get them to rout for just a second, and he does that. Wurzag is still alive, somehow. Whoops. Don't know how he's still alive. The Iron Demon's back to chasing him down, trying to kill him. Trying is a very key word. Lamassu is almost dead. The Great Taurus is routing. And the Orc Boar Boy Biggins did tie them up and shut them down. Greenskins are overrunning these little Hobgoblin archers as they try to fire off one last little volley before the angry pigs get them. And we are down to just the Iron Demon and a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire on foot. The Iron Demon is surrounded by trolls. The Broken Tusk Mob and archers in the distance will be shooting at them soon. It is all looking ogre for our friends, the Chaos Dwarves. I don't know how Wurzag survived, but when I was talking to Strat Game after this battle, I said, yes, it was a mistake to overcommit onto Wurzag. Yes, the Lamassu and the Great Bale Taurus were not good ideas, but I have no idea how this little dancing bitch... Look at him styling on my grave! Look at him! Army losses is hitting and he just starts dancing! You fuck! You asshole! GG's. All right, fire up some League of Legends and show us how to win. Hell yeah, dude. Christopher Watson, how dare you? If MMA gets the Worlds, it becomes like Minnesota NFL and NHL where they choke in the big game. Dude, Gregory, I gave up on the Vikings after a while. Like, my family cares a lot about them, and I don't hate them. I just don't pay attention as much as I used to. Because growing up as a Vikings fan, it's like every year you hear your parents say, this is the year. This is the year we do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, dank. And then like by game 5, they're swearing and throwing things at the TV. And I'm like, this is going well. This is going real good. I've hovered over the values, but you can see them. If you want my real analysis and not memes, I overcommitted trying to snipe Wurzag and then just got my single entity surrounded by boar boys and got fucked up. So I needed to be a little more patient. But also I think the build was just a little deficient because my front line was just too fragile. So the Greenskins easily busted through my front line and then just isolated my single entities and ground them down. True strat game, true. So, yeah, it was a fun game, but Strat kicked my shit in. I mean, Lenormand shit. And that leaves just Blood Penguin. Can he defeat Strat Game and Black Knight? Or will the Night Crew solidify it? Blood Penguin on the Dark Elves, Strat Game on Norsca. Now you might be like, why wasn't he fighting Black Knight? Like I said, once you get into the second round, it was much more just schedule as you're able. And Strat ended up being around before Black, so they just fought it out. Needed a Dreadquake? Aw. Don't get me started on the Dreadquake. Don't do it. Oh, I remember this game. The players told me about this game. Okay, I need to focus up. For Norsca, we have, it looks like 4 Norscan Ice Wolves. Yes, 4 Norscan Ice Wolves. 3 Skin Wolves, a Shaman Sorcerer of Metal with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom, Throg the Troll King, but naked except for his natural regen, and then we have some Marauder Champions mixed in with Marauders. For the Dark Elves, we have Malice, Darkblade. 4 Black Arc Corsair Handbows, some Dread Spears, some Bleak Swords, more Dread Spears and Bleak Swords. We have a Witch Elf, the Hellebroni, Blackguard of Nagaron, one of them, Cold One Knight, some Dark Riders, and a Sorceress of Death, just Spirit Leech. What up, Sam Goodwin? How you doing? How you doing? You lost because no supply train. Got him. All right, Skin Wolves and Dogs trying to get a little bit of a pick onto the Black Arc Corsair Handbows. If they can get in here, do some damage, and then run away, the Skin Wolves can heal up, and it won't be that big of a deal. Though these guys actually end up surrounding Malice, and Throg is coming over to say hello to him. Go, Throg, go. Go, Throg, go. All right, Throg's going to start beating his ass. Meanwhile, more dogs engage, and they are, again, really trying to isolate these handbows and just get what damage they can out of those guys. Because if you can get the Dark Elves down to just their melee infantry, Norsca can usually grind through them. Norsca loves a super long, grindy melee engagement in the front line. Malice is pretty deep in here. Throg is currently beating the shit out of him. We're going to see if Malice can either escape here or if he remembers to turn into his Arcan, because if he naturally routes, which he can do when he's just Malice, if he doesn't transform into his demon, he can just route, and if he does, the Ice Wolves will chase him. Malice takes a lot of damage. He has to transform. Holy shit, he didn't. Oh, no. All right. Malice is routing, and unless the Norskins make a mistake and don't let him come back, he is actually just, like, dead. So without Malice or Tazarkan, the balance of power turns heavily against the Dark Elves at this point. They still have some of their kiting tools around, like these Black Arc Corsair Handbows are still firing a little bit. The Dread Spear and Hellebroni frontline is holding for now. Blackguard are running about, but Malice straight up dies, and that is going to be a leadership spike for the Dark Elves, which, like High Elves and Dwarves, I mentioned before, if they lose their Lord, it's not the biggest deal for their leadership, but it is a big deal because the Dark Elves usually rely on an extremely expensive and very powerful Lord to carry them through games, like Malekith or the Sorceress, Honor Dragon, and losing Malice that early was rough. So yeah, I honestly, in the middle of the game, I forgot which side was which, but I remember talking about this game with the players where they said, whoops, kind of an anticlimactic ending, because I knew Blood Penguin, whichever side he was, I forgot if he was Norsca or Dark Elves. I remember they said it's an anticlimactic ending because he YOLO'd his Lord, immediately lost it, and the game was over. So when I saw Throg running up to Malice, I'm like, one of these two is about to get completely fucked. I don't remember which, but one of them is dead as hell. So, you know, shit happens, man. I mean, some games are just blowouts, some games are close games. I played Lenorm today on Vermin League for fun, and we had a pretty quick 2-0 where I just got blasted. Like, sometimes it just happens, and it so happened to be the last game of this whole event was a blowout. There was a ton of great ones. There was a lot of close games, and Blood Penguin obviously got a lot of wins for his team. No shame to him at all. But yeah, the last game ended up being a blowout. Shit happens. In a game that short, it's not really worth going over the values because there's not a lot to analyze. Throg got 2,000 value in a very short amount of time by hitting Malice in the face several times over. And that is about that. Event Thinger final. So to update you, just in case you were not keeping track, that does mean the Knight boys win it out with 2 lives left, Strat Game and Black Knight. We had some scheduling issues. Overall, it was a fun cast. It was a good time. I enjoyed the format of having everybody kind of be the same team, so you can't use the same faction. It did allow for a lot of different picks. Though next time I would be more careful about scheduling people that are on the same side of the world. Because John FB is Australian, Lenorm was in EU, and Blood Penguin's in NA. All 3 of these guys are late night NA. So we had some scheduling issues. This one took a while. So yeah, GG's to the players. And thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. I am going to get going here. I hope you all have a lovely night.